Good morning. Okay, so hello everyone. We are here today with Twin Aura Knits with Jess and Erica, and I'm so excited to have them here. They're like friends, virtual friends for a long time now, and I'm really excited to be able to chat with them. So sisters, twins, knitters, spinners, makers, and yarning content creators. So thank you both for being here, and thank you for saying yes to come on my channel and chat a little bit about the fiber. And yeah, so maybe you can just do like a brief introduction of like who you both are.
Great. So I'm Jess, and I'm with Jess with the blue hair. People get confused. I'm Erica. And yeah, we're Twin Aura Knits. We're obviously twins, sisters, best friends. We're knitters. Yep. Spinners, jewelry makers, crafty folk all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just do all the things.
I remember, I think I met Jess the first time in the like poetry advent thing that Jackie and Amy did. And so, and we read a poem together in Spanish. We read Federico Garcia Lorca. And then you, Erica, I think I met, because you didn't come to the poetry thing, did you? Or did you?
No, I was working. See, I was in quarantine, so I had nothing to do.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
A weird time. But then I met Erica. I met you, both of you guys again in the like Zoom bingo party that Cady Jax did.
Yes.
And like I didn't realize like before that, because this was all like December, January of last year. And like I didn't realize just that you were a twin, and then you guys were like showing your twin knits and you like knit all these things together, and I was like, oh my God. And then I realized that you have a podcast. So very cool.
Thank you. I know, I was so glad that we connected, because I remember reading the poem and I was like, crap, I forgot to ask her Instagram name.
I think I found you.
Like, Erica. Yeah. Jess was like, Erica, I read this poem with this girl from Spain. She's so awesome. And I'm like, great. I'm glad you had a great day.
Oh, and you're like, I come from work. Please don't make me jealous.
Yeah, really. I'm like, but it was a really lonely time.
I know. Quarantine is lonely.
Yeah.
Quarantine was lonely.
Yeah, quarantine. I mean, it was a good time to knit and to relax. I mean, I think that because of like the grind of life, like before all this happened, I think we were all really like wound up really tight, and now how to relax and knit more and everything. So
truth.
So where are you guys from? Like, I always like to know the geography of where you're from, what the landscape, the climate is like, and if that has any effect on like your creating and everything. So where are you from?
So we are Puerto Rican, but living in Erie, Pennsylvania.
So right on the lake.
We are about a 10-minute drive from Presque Isle, which is a state park.
That's where the beaches are.
And that's where the freshwater beaches are. It's kind of woodsy. Also within like a 10-minute drive from where we are at. And it gets, in the summer, it's beautiful. You have the beaches and the hiking. And then in the winter, it gets bitterly cold because of the lake, and we get lake effect snow, and we get a ton of snow.
Wow. Okay, well, at least it's like knit-worthy weather.
Yes, that's the only good thing about it. Is that we rock our knits all winter long, which is really nice. Because I know like our patients, we both work in doctor's offices, and we communicate with the public, and they're always like, I love what you're wearing. Did you make that? Oh my goodness. I love your color theory. Like, I love the way you pick patterns and all. It's a fun time.
It's a fun place to be in, because you can layer your knits. You know, like you can wear the hand knit socks and the hand knit sweater and the hand knit cardigan and the hand knit shawl and the hand knit hat, and then the gloves.
Everything knit, and necessary like a lot of months out of the year. I don't know if you guys have a longer winter than other places, but very nice. And tell me what you're wearing right now, because I love these sweaters.
Oh, thanks. This is actually my Rhinebeck sweater. It is this Class T by Wool and Pine, and I just picked a color palette and just went for it.
I love it. It's knit or crochet?
It's knit.
It's knit, but it has like an interesting stitch pattern. From here, it almost looks like
it's a 1x1 color work. So you have 2 colors at a time, and you're just alternating with each stitch. And then once you're done with the row, you switch your 2 colors to do different colors, and you knit 1x1.
That's so fun, and that like motivates you forward. I love that, and really good for scraps. You know,
it is, and for advents, yeah. I definitely make another one with my advents this year.
What advents do you have? Do you have the same advents, different advents?
Oh my goodness, we got so many because we do Vlogmas. We did Vlogmas last year, and we're doing it again this year.
We bought the Chelsea yarns.
Yep, the junk yarn,
the
nostalgia.
Junk yarn.
I'm getting cake wool from Alyssa.
We love her.
We love Alyssa.
I got a spinning advent from Amanda Solomon.
Yep.
Melanated boho bay.
Me too.
I got the cat sandwich.
I think that's it.
Wow.
I spent way too much money on advents because as soon as like one's paid off, someone else came out with one, and I'm like, I want that one too. And now I have too many coming to me.
Yeah. So
never too many. It makes December like the most fun ever.
I do agree with that.
I know Halloween hasn't even happened yet, and I'm like, can we start making Christmas cookies, please? Like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready for it too. I can't believe that it's almost. I mean, the day that we're recording this, I'll probably have this out before Halloween. I don't know if I can, but I can't believe that like November is next week. It's crazy. Time
I know.
Strange, but very nice. And Erica, what are you wearing?
I am wearing the Hello from My Colors crop by Jessie May.
Oh, fun.
It's her first color work sweater that she has designed.
I love it.
And she test knitted
I test knit it.
Oh, very cool. And so was the process test knitting? Did you like it? Or have you test knit before with other people?
Oh, I've test knit for other people before, but test knitting for Jessie is always so fun because she's very like hands-on if you need it, which for this one I did need it because I messed up almost immediately. I missed an increase round, so she helped me with the math on how to do a more fitted crop. Other than that, like, she's very hands-off if you want hands-off, and it was just the perfect test knit for what I needed. It was plenty of color work, which I love. It kept me busy, and I zoomed through it.
Nice. Yeah, I think both are wearing are knits that are like you want to keep going because it's really fun, you know.
It is. Yeah.
You want to get to the next step.
The next color combo.
What yarn are you using? Did you say that? I might have missed that, Erica.
No. I used some stash yarn. So I had some. I'm sorry, I'm looking in the mirror. Spin cycle and some ritual dyes, her Maven colorway, and then I had some very old Quince & Co colors.
Okay, very nice. And so was that also your Rhinebeck sweater, or did you wear it?
This is my Rhinebeck Sunday sweater. So I had like,
yeah, we knitted for 3 days.
Yeah, we did 3 new outfits per day. Well, 3 outfits for the weekend. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so that's kind of like the elephant in the room because Rhinebeck was just last weekend, and I'm dying to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about like everything else.
We'll pause. Yes.
We'll come back.
We will get to it because I never been to Rhinebeck, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this have never been to Rhinebeck.
Next year.
For sure. Yeah, I was with some friends from here in Spain a few weeks ago, and we were like, we could kind of organize that. Maybe we should start talking about it and organize like a group of people from here to go and like rent a house. And
yes. That's what we ended up doing, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah, and I saw that you just posted a vlog. I didn't have a chance to watch it yet, but you posted like a vlog about the experience.
Yes, we did. It's an hour long, so get your snacks and your tea and your knitting and just settle in, because it's a long one.
Yeah.
And like live vicariously through you all. Today I've been like going through like in like little spurts watching the Kristy Glass video, because that one's also like 2 hours long.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going through it, but it's really exciting and so inspirational. Like I love watching those videos, because just seeing everyone's creativity and like how they put colors and patterns and things together, it's so cool.
I always watch the like her tell me about your Rhinebeck sweater video with like a notebook, because I'm like, what designer was that? What pattern is that? Who's that yarn dyer? That's how, I mean, that was our first education into like the Ravelry knitting community.
Yeah. Was Kristy Glass tell me about your Rhinebeck sweater.
Okay, so that leads into my next kind of question, like telling me a little bit briefly your fiber story and how long you've been doing this, what you do with fiber. I know you spin also. Tell me a little bit about that history.
Well, we originally were sewists.
Ooh.
Back in high school. We wanted to be fashion designers, and, you know, we didn't have any qualms about, you know, when people think, you know, they want to be fashion designers, they're like, oh, I designed something and then someone else makes it. And we're like, no, obviously you make your own stuff at the beginning. So that's what we did. We took every single fashion and fabrics class that we could in high school. We were very lucky to have a high school that had a lot of art classes and programs and home ec and stuff, which was really great. There would be days where I would just have like one normal class, and then the rest of them were art classes, which was really great. We did some cross stitching when we were younger.
As one does.
Embroidery. Erica was really into sublime stitching back in the early 2000s.
Yes, sublime stitching. Her name is Jenny Hart. She is a stitcher from Austin, Texas. And if you Google her, she does these most amazing hand embroidered portraits. She did like Dolly Parton and like all of these, like Willie Nelson, like all of these hand embroidered portraits. And I became obsessed, and I bought all of her books, and I embroidered for the longest time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then,
and
then in high school, I picked up knitting, as you do, because, you know, you want to do all the things. And I knit this really long, oblong, like weird, awkward scarf. Because when you first learn, you don't know what a drop stitch looks like. You don't know
that the bars are there.
The bars are there to create a stitch. So every time I thought that I dropped a stitch, because like, I think this is why I knit super tight now, because I was so paranoid of dropping a stitch that I would like, I think I dropped a stitch, so I would bring it up. So then it would be like this.
But when you wrap that around, it's fine.
Right. But it was never long enough. So I don't ever think I ever finished it. And it was like this weird, like blue acrylic yarn. And because I wanted to be different and extra, I bought like a line, like, was it Red Heart? I feel like it was Red Heart Red to go with the blue. God, it was a monstrosity. And I don't even have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh man, that would be nice.
I know.
It was like first we knit. Like
it was really like early 2000s vibes. Yeah. Like emo vibes. It was like striped. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Very cool. Very cool. And then from there you like kept on, or?
Well, no, we kind of stopped in high school, because when you go into college, we went to school for jewelry and metalsmithing, so a very heavy art program.
Yeah, so you don't really have time to do anything other than your
coursework, because you're talking 3-hour classes, and you're taking 4 to 6 3-hour classes. And the rule is for every hour you spend, you're supposed to spend 3 hours outside of class on your work. So we had no time to do anything but our coursework. It wasn't until we took weaving and fibers class in school that we learned how to re-knit.
Yeah,
because we didn't realize we were twisting our stitches. We wove on a floor loom.
Yeah, that was fun.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We embroidered a little bit.
Yep. They taught us how to do like Indian embroidery,
like the Indian hand embroidery, which was phenomenal to watch.
Yeah. We had a visiting artist come in and teach us how to do that. We actually had a visiting artist who his name is Mark Newport. And he's like a fine gallery artist, but he does it through knitting. So he like knits like these superhero costumes and like he like hangs them as if they were like a second skin. And then he also like does performance art where he wears them and then he like knits a sock. He just knits a sock. Right. And you can come up to him and ask him questions, but he's not going to say anything because he's like in his zone. And then he'll like give the sock to like a random person.
And then you just have one sock from this artist.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
he did that.
I feel like I need a paper and pen, and I'm going to put all of the people that you're mentioning, because you're mentioning lots of really interesting people for everyone to go look and find more information about. But very cool. Very nice.
Yeah.
And then we kind of dropped it because we did crafts. So we were jewelers primarily. So we were weaving and working with metal for 2.5 years. And then once we graduated, we got burnt out and we just stopped anything creative. Just because we needed like a reset after producing for so long, because you have to be on, right? Like every class you're producing a new body of work and a new body of work and a new body of work. And we just stopped. And it wasn't until 2 years ago today.
Is it today?
Hold on. I'm checking the date.
The 24th.
Okay. So 2 days from now will be our 2-year knitting anniversary.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. We decided to start a knitting group just in our local coffee shop.
Yeah, that's no more.
But we would go there and we would get pizza and we would sit and eat and knit and share life. And we would go and knit for a couple of hours, and that just started this whole thing.
Yeah. I would have never thought that we would end up here at this very moment.
I know.
Starting that. It's so crazy how fast things move, you know? Because we were just like, we're gonna like get together and share life and like knit. Never in a million years did I think we would start a podcast and be here. You know, it's crazy.
And do all the things.
I know.
And do all the things. That's so exciting. It's just like, I don't know, in life, I think we just have to keep following what brings us joy. And then as you keep those threads, you keep moving forward and doing awesome things.
It started off with like just practice yarn just to see if we could knit. And then we're like, well, we want to knit a sweater. So we bought kits.
Because we had never knit a sweater ever. It was always like little pouches or like
little scarves.
And I was like, that's it. If I'm going to do this, I'm knitting a sweater. Like I know how to make garments because, you know, with the sewing background, I was like, I know how to do this. We're just going to do it. And we got our We Are Knitters kits.
And we've not stopped knitting since then.
Yeah.
Because we are knitters. It just runs in our blood now.
It really does. It really does. It's crazy. It's so funny. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I mean, I think we can, well, actually, no, before we get to Rhinebeck, because I'm thinking about like the community and everything and how amazing it must have been to be surrounded by so many people who understand the passion. Before we get to that, tell me about your channel. When did you decide to make a YouTube channel? How did that happen?
Well, so we had previously had another YouTube channel talking about comic books and nerd things.
Comic books.
I know you guys have so many different hobbies and interests, you know?
Yeah.
Vintage clothes also, I think.
Yes, because we can be all the things.
We can be all the things.
In boxes, we can be all the things and do all the things.
Right. So when we took a break from that and picked up knitting, I kept bugging her like, hey, we should do this. We should start a channel. Even if no one watches it, at least it'll document like our journey.
Yeah.
And at least, because that's how it was with the other YouTube channel, was like we would share our experiences going to different conventions and like sharing our memories and our time and whatever. And I was like, we just need to do this just for ourselves.
Yeah.
Essentially. And if people watch it, that's great. But if not, that's fine too. So I think for our birthday,
We decided
to do it.
When's your birthday?
in August.
All right.
So we filmed our first episode in August, and then we premiered it in September, because we were like, do we really want to do this, or is this like a vanity project type of thing? But then we were like, we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just all in. Just do it.
Just all in.
Yeah.
Just talking about our finished objects and like how we want to style things and our color choices and the stuff that we've purchased and the stuff that we possibly want to knit.
And how to style things.
Yeah.
Because we really like the idea of like demystifying
like fashion.
Like fashion for people, and how to style things, because sometimes you get stuck in a style rut, you know, and then like knitting something amazing, and then like that, for at least for me, sparks like, how can I wear this in my wardrobe? How can I interpret this specific piece in so many different ways? And that's what we originally wanted to do, and we really need to get back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I highly recommend anyone watching this to go check out your Instagrams. I know you have an Instagram now that is together, but your separate Instagrams, you have like really cool styling pictures, and I love the photography that you guys do. You always find like a cool location, cool hair, makeup, everything. Yeah.
Thank you. We work really, really hard at that.
Yeah.
Just because we want it to be different. Like we want it to be like a styled shoot.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
I
think it just comes from being in art school. We're just conditioned to be like, if you're going to put something out there, you have to make it
polished,
visually appealing.
The composition needs to be right. The lighting needs to be right. The styling needs to be right.
Yeah.
Like everything needs to be like, you can't hand in the project if you have to still file ends and sand it and coat it properly. So like everything needs like the finished object photos was also pretty ingrained into us.
Yeah.
Because when you finish with your jewelry project, you needed to photograph it on the body so you could have a body of work or a portfolio, right? So then you can apply to graduate school or apply to galleries.
And so many times it's really all about like the finished product of the photograph, you know?
Yeah.
You can make something like so simple look amazing in a piece. And yeah, you can never just randomly like, oh, I'll just stand here by the tree. Like you have to have a reason. Like, why are you in this setting? I don't do that at all. I'm all like, oh, just like whatever. But
that's a conscious choice, right? That's still a conscious choice to go where you're going and take that photograph.
For sure.
And that's your aesthetic.
I know that I absolutely love. I think it's great.
I know.
Oh, yeah. So, but okay. And also jewelry making and working with silver, because this is an obsession. I watched like all these, I was talking to Erica, I think about this, about how I'm obsessed with like silversmithing and watching like silver melt and like I really want to do that.
Oh, it's so good. I love
it's so good.
There's nothing better than watching silver melt.
Yes.
The silver solder melt, and to hear the quenching. Yes.
It's so good.
There's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
And so do you have like access to equipment, or you don't play with that anymore? Like I don't know. The equipment was probably at your university. Do you have any to do that at home?
So we have bare, like super bare bones.
Yeah, we have like a small anvil, a couple of hammers. We have a small little torch. We have a little
neck mandrel that I lovingly call Irene.
We have a little pickle pot to clean the metal, but we just haven't had it really set up because this fiber has taken over our lives.
Oh, I know. There's only so much time. There's only
right.
We were talking the other day how like the octopus image is, I don't know if you've seen that sweater with like the octopus color work on it, and like someone was telling me about this like octopus thing that was being made, and I was like, I think as knitters or crocheters or whatever, we're drawn to this animal because it has so many, it can do so many things at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's why we like the octopus. I don't know. But
I totally forgot. There were so many times in class where I was like, if I could just have another hand.
I know.
And they would have like this tool. It was literally called the third hand, and it was like, it would like sit, and it was like a pair of tweezers to like hold. So you would have like, you know, your heat here, you're putting whatever you have here, and then the other thing is holding it here.
Those tools were valuable.
Like, yeah.
I wish I had like behind the scenes of like
Metalsmithing,
making my like arm cuffs.
I know.
Because like you have to like hold it onto these fire bricks and hold it with these third hands and hold it all together and pray to God that it'll work with the heat, that the heat with the air, it doesn't blow what you want off, and then you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
exactly. It's very delicate and just like in there. I've never tried it before, but it's something that I really would like. I keep talking about it, so I really should do it.
Oh, you should. It's fun. It's really fun.
I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've like gone around to different places here in my city and like asked like small like jewelry shops like who makes these and like can they teach me, like can I, and they're like, oh, we don't really do that anymore, but I'm still on the hunt for finding some kind of class or something where I can.
And you just need someone. We had in our university the town where our university was. You just needed one person to say yes. We had this guy, his name was Cecil, and he would allow one metalsmithing student become like his assistant bench jeweler, and he would teach them everything that you would need to pass a bench jeweler test. You just need someone to say yes.
Okay, so that's what I gotta find. I don't know. I also feel like it's a little bit dangerous with like the heat and everything. Like, have you ever hurt yourselves doing that? No.
I still have like a scar from cutting myself
and burn marks
myself, but
I mean, once you realize that metal is hot,
yeah.
And once you heat it up, even if you take the torch away, that metal is still hot.
Yeah.
Once you learn that a couple of times, it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Okay. And also like the filing, I don't know if I would like that sound because I don't know.
Oh, no, I think you'll find it soothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you go at your own rhythm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I paper sound.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. When I watch on the videos, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would like that. But maybe if you're actually doing it, it might be okay.
It's different. Yeah,
no, it is different.
Very, very cool. So many things. You are like the women of all trades, jack of all trades. And do each of you have a project which you like? It could be any craft that you are most proud of in all these years of making things.
Ooh.
I do. Should I go get it?
Yeah.
Can I go get it?
Of course.
It's metal. It's metal work.
Oh,
I'll be right back. Let me see.
Is it large? Do you know what it is?
I think
my plan B.
Yes, it has to do with like, it was inspired by fiber art.
Really? Okay.
No.
So is this something that she made recently? Or no?
No.
No.
This is something she made in school.
Okay.
She was inspired, obviously. I mean, I don't want to say obviously by fiber art, but I mean, I feel like there's been a through line of like fiber art in our lives ever since we were young. So she originally was going to cast like pieces of fabric to make parts for a necklace. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head. And that didn't work. So then she had to like figure out a different way of doing it and a different way of approaching it. And then she finally figured out how to weave metal.
Oh, okay.
Like, do you
I do have it. It's in my jewelry box, my fancy jewelry box. Okay. So this, let me sit down so that way you can edit it and it doesn't look weird.
No, I don't think I edit it. I think it's fine. Because Jess was talking to us.
Okay, that's good. This is my most prized favorite piece.
My God.
So this is all sterling silver. Well, the chain is all sterling silver. So this is called the Byzantine chain.
I used to have a bracelet like that.
I handmade all of these links and wove them in.
Wow.
I then casted. I burned my finger on this. This is cuttlefish casting. This is just the clasp.
Cuttlefish. What does that mean?
So it's a bone that you can buy at the pet store or wherever.
Like a cuttlefish.
Yeah. You can cut it in half and carve into it because it's super soft.
Yeah.
But it's also heat resistant.
And it's heat resistant. So you can pour that molten metal into it and create like
brilliant
pieces.
That's like, it's like in the squid family. It's yeah. You can get the fish shop here. I mean, oh wow, and birds like it. That's why it's a pet store. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then I casted this diamond metal piece and I put a pearl at the end of it. And I hand wove. This is all nickel, silver, and brass.
Oh.
And I had to take my flat sheet of metal and roll it all out and cut it up and weave it. But I originally wanted to cast hand woven pieces to make this giant necklace, and it just didn't work. And anything I did just not working until I got to this part. And this is just my pride and joy. This is.
I love it. So cool and so original. So cool. Amazing.
Thank
so
you.
that is your project that you are most proud of, and I can see why. So cool.
Yep.
And I love that it's like fiber related too. And I feel like that would look really nice on your sweater right now. You know, like
I know. You have to be careful because the brass bits are pokey, so it gets caught in the sweater.
Yeah, no, be careful.
Yeah. It looks better with like a V-neck on their skin.
Yeah. Or like a collared shirt kind of thing, maybe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I love that you're into jewelry making. Very cool.
Thanks.
And you, Jess, do you have a top?
I do. I think it's the shawlette that I made for my grandma. I designed it specifically for her with yarn that I thought would fit her personality, and I gave it to her for Mother's Day, and she like loves it and she carries it with her everywhere, and it's
That's so sweet.
I know.
That's sweet that she like carries it with her everywhere, because sometimes I feel like that with my knitting. I think when I was really young, I always had like a security blanket with me like all the time until I was probably like 6. And now I kind of feel like that about my knitting. Like if I go out and I don't have some sock or like I'm like,
you feel empty inside. That's me too. I literally went to work and I was like, why is today like the worst day of my life? And then I was like, I left my knitting at home.
I mean, I'm sitting here with a sweater on my lap, but I'm not knitting it. I'm just in case. You never know. I can
It's just nice to have it.
Yeah, I think being crafters, we're tactile people.
So. Absolutely. Okay, so I think we can talk about the importance of community and Rhinebeck.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if people are watching this, a lot of people watch this. Hello, everyone. And maybe they're from Spain and they're watching this in English. Maybe they don't know what Rhinebeck is. So tell us, what is this Rhinebeck?
Okay.
Erica's like, okay, let me get ready.
Let me get ready and prepared, because Rhinebeck is the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. It happens in the Rhinebeck area, which is why people call it Rhinebeck. That's the town that it is held in. And it is it's starting to become like a week-long party, because this year they had an event on Thursday and Friday, a couple events on Friday, and then the Sheep and Wool is Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
It is the biggest show. It's held in Dutchess County, and it has everything from, you know, the farm fibers, so farm yarn, indie dyers, designers, podcasters, just people coming in through just to come in and see everything. There's llamas and sheep, and it is so fantastic.
It is.
It was our first Rhinebeck experience.
Yes.
This was our first year ever, and we had such a good time.
We did. It was so magical. It's crazy that it's already been a week.
I know.
But it was just so good to be with everybody.
Yeah.
And because we haven't been with anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? So like, I mean, especially with our start of our fiber journey, like we had just started knitting in October, and then everything shut down in March. So we literally had no community. Maybe that's also why we started our podcast too, is because we've been alone. And it was just so nice to be with people that understand you and friends that get you, and like don't think that it's weird that you're coming to go see, you know, a place where they have yarn, and it's just, you know, so fun. And yeah,
like how do I say this? So we ended up in a house with girls that we met through the internet, through Instagram. We all kind of met through Instagram and decided we were going to rent a house.
Yeah.
And which worked out perfect because we all got along very well. And there's a couple of friends that we actually met on the Dutchess County Fairgrounds for the first time. We had been friends for years, and only through this festival did we all get a chance to meet in person.
Yeah, and one of our friends surprised us.
Yeah,
and came, didn't tell us that that she was coming, and she came, and it was the greatest moment ever. I'm not an emotional person, but I literally started like bawling my eyes out, and Erica was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just really happy." Yeah, I think it was what it needed to be for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like it was busy time. Like we left Friday morning at like 5 a.m. to be in Saugerties, which is 30 minutes outside of Rhinebeck, for Cake Palooza, which was another fiber event that our friend Alyssa was hosting. And we were there just to help them out with whatever they needed. So if they needed yarn labeled and people checked in and people needed waters and stuff, we were there. Like whatever you needed, we were there.
Yeah.
But it was such a busy day, and it was such a wonderful day.
We also did a live podcast for a Knit and Escape, which was crazy. Yeah,
which was fun. We got to show a lot of our projects that we did in cake wool. We were just busy, and it was great. And I keep saying this to everybody, but it was like walking in person through your Instagram feed.
It really was.
So like
everyone,
beautiful sweaters.
Yeah.
Kristy Glass was there running around doing her Knit and Escape virtual. All of the yarn dyers that you could imagine that you follow on Instagram were there. So like Amy from La Bien-Aimée was there. Chelsea Yarns was there. Asylum Fibers was there. Clinton Hill Cashmere was there. Knit Collage. Amy from Knit Collage was there. It was like walking through your Instagram feed.
In the best way. Because everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
Everyone was so sweet. Yeah.
Knitter, I mean, I think that the fiber community is so loving and care. I don't know what it is or why, but I find that, I don't know. I mean, there's always like some little things that happen, and I'm always surprised when I see things like that. Like, but in general, I just think that it's a loving community. Really nice.
I mean, it was really lovely to see, like, again, being our first fiber really event ever, seeing the groups of people coming in and they're like, oh, well, we're our own house, you know, like we rented a house, we're all friends, or they were like us where they had just met and they were doing this event together, or you know, people meeting for the first time, like seeing people who in the pandemic started watching Cady Jax, and they were there and meeting Cady Jax for the first time and seeing their interactions. It was like, it's just really nice to see in person the reach this fiber community really does have. Because we are sitting here, right? We're in the States, you're in Spain. We're having this conversation about like something we all love. And it's only through this computer situation that we can connect, which is fantastic. But to see it happen in person, real time, it was one of the best experiences, I think. It was.
Yeah, it really, really was.
And I heard that there were like 15,000 people. Is that a correct number? Sounds like a lot.
There was a lot of people, but I don't know about Rhinebeck, but I know for Cake Palooza, she had it. So it was like, you had like a 2-hour window. So like everybody was kind of staggered, which was nice.
Yeah.
Rhinebeck was busy, but because it was our first time, we don't have anything to compare it to.
Right. But everybody was saying it was like a third of what
it usually is. So, and it got to the point where like in certain booths, like we were in, what was it, Bumblebee Yarns?
Yeah.
Trying to pick out a sweaters quantity for my friend. And it got so busy in there that like we had to step away. So I can't imagine
how it is normally.
What it would be normally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see how this year progresses, and maybe next year it'll be back to normal or even more, because I feel like so many people have come into the fiber world and community and found all this through the pandemic. Right.
Which is great because we need more people. Like we will take everybody. You want to knit, we will teach you.
Yeah. 100%.
Exactly. Wonderful. And you see the animals, right? They have like llamas there and sheep, like all different things.
Yes. So we were pretty busy when we were there. So we were there 2 days at the actual Dutchess County Fairgrounds. And the first day we did like all of the photos and all of the socializing and all of the meeting everybody. So we didn't get a chance to shop or really see fiber animals. The second day, all we did was shop.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a chance to see all the fiber animals.
Yeah.
Did you do a haul in your video? Like, are we going to see all? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's already on the internet. Okay.
Yeah, it is already on the internet.
It's on the internet. You see mine, Erica's,
Emily's and
Sam's, who are the two girls that were with us.
And then our cousin's girlfriend, she came with us, and her haul is in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. So you get to see everything we bought.
Yes.
Wow. And did you get any fiber to spin? Because I know you guys spin, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
We did.
Amanda Solomon was there. So I, of course, had to grab some Amanda Solomon stuff.
It was lovely to meet her in person.
Yeah, it's funny because the internet is so weird because you feel like you know these people and these people feel like they know you, And like when you meet in real life, you're like, but are we gonna have like the same kind of
interactions
that we do online? And
we did. It was great. You do. It's nice to know that like, it's nice to know that everyone is who they are online. It was also interesting to see Kristy Glass running around because like before you only see like the stuff that she produces, but seeing her running around with her schedule and like her little camera and everything, like I keep saying this and I will never stop saying this, but she is the hardest working person that Rhinebeck weekend. She made a virtual happen.
Yep.
She does her Rhinebeck sweater videos. She's doing all of this stuff simultaneously. And I don't even know how she's able to enjoy her time, if she even enjoys it anymore. I'm sure she does, but do you know what I mean?
She's an inspiration.
She's so busy. I'm like, I give you mad props. Like I told her that weekend, I told her like on the internet, I will still say that because she really is like
amazing. Yeah. I mean, just like the content and the way that everything is edited and everything, like she worked so hard, and I can't believe she got that video up in like 6 days.
I know.
The amount of footage that she took and I'm just shocked that she was able to put together a cohesive video with that much editing and that much footage in a week.
Yeah.
And the other footage that I'm sure she did, because she said a Super Saturday, so she I think had 4 or 5 other videos. Like how and produce all of this beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't understand. She's
amazing.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. And she has time to knit because she like is always making things.
I know.
Like, how did she live?
I know. I might be like, hey, Kristy, I really want like a in-depth, like behind the scenes, like how are you doing this? Because I'm just curious on how.
Exactly.
We knit for what, since
we've been knitting since August.
September, October, November, August. Nope, July, August, September, October, 4 months.
4 months to make 4 sweaters.
Yeah, to make 4 sweaters. I don't know how she does it. I'm like,
she's an octopus. She's got all
that. Oh my gosh, yeah, really. Because every spare moment that I had, I was like knitting on a sweater. Just to get it done. Yeah.
Amazing. So if anyone wants to go check that out, Kristy's channel is fantastic and has so much content and like so informative. And you mentioned Knit and Escape, which is so cool. I did it back in February and I absolutely loved it. It's like an online knitting with like classes and lots of really fun games and stuff and trivia.
I've done a couple of Knit and Escape weekends and I've taken a couple classes through her platform, and it is, it's worth the price of admission. Like she gives a lot of value just even for the marketplace ticket.
Exactly. And when I did a brioche class, and then in the trivia section, I won the ring. I won the ring in the. I know. I was like sitting there, like typing in the answers because they were asking, and I was so shocked. She was like, "Nicole, you're the winner of the ring," and I was like, Asia Ingalls.
That's an awesome prize because that ring is like everybody has that ring.
Yeah. I wear it literally every day. You guys need it, or you can. No, we have to support Asia Ingalls, but it was so cool, and that's where the silversmithing idea came to my mind because she had like a live thing, and so I saw her make this ring.
Yeah. See, like that's the thing, right? Like because I'm a silversmith, I'm like I could just make it, but also like we also know the responsibility of supporting other artists.
Yeah.
And my work looks totally different than that, and hearts are my thing. Like because we're twins, like when we were little and we couldn't like read names, my mom would mark my stuff with hearts and Jessica's stuff with stars. So like hearts are my thing. And I do love that. So maybe one of those heart rings are in my future.
I think you need one. You could get a silver one. They're not like, I mean, if you get a gold one, then I think you need to break the bank, but the silver ones are fine.
Gold doesn't, it's not I don't do gold.
Silver. And I literally wear it every day. It's my favorite. I think it's so cool. And it reminds me of like the love of the fiber community. Like it really, it's like my knitting. Like now if I leave the house without my ring, I'm like, oh, I need my ring. Where's my ring? So.
Yep, I get it.
Yes, but Knit and Escape is really cool and definitely worth, like there's like prizes to be won. Like you get to meet people. There's like all these discounts and like free demos. Like if you sign up for a class, you have access to like all this other stuff, which is so interesting.
Which is fantastic. Which is
like various stuff like meditation. There was like yoga. There was like a dyer doing natural dyes. Like lots of different things. So
I know that they had one session. They had a spinner, and she went through all of her spinning wheels and what they did, which was fantastic if you're into spinning or looking to buy a wheel and want more information than what I did, which I was like, Amanda Solomon, what you got? And she's like, I got this. And I was like, I'm going to buy that. Truth.
So do you guys spin like every day, like, or like once a week? So I know you did the Tour de Fleece. I was watching those videos that you like were spinning all the time. And is that a daily thing?
So we have not spun since Tour de Fleece.
Yes, because it was right back knitting time.
Because we had 4 sweaters to do.
Yeah.
And I had a full fingering weight colorwork sweater to finish.
Yeah. But actually right now what's going on is Stash Dash So it's 10 days. It's like a mini Tour de Fleece, and we are trying to participate in that.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows we have a lot of stuff to spin.
Yeah.
And
it's perfect timing because Knit Collage has their knit along. So if you have purchased a kit or did the virtual option, you get all of the patterns. And I'm going to be spinning for one of those projects.
Perfect, because that's more of like a chunky weight.
Right. So it's like a totally different skill set. So usually with the wheel that I've purchased and I've played with, I've tried to get really, really, really thin, and I spun a sport weight, like 2-ply sport weight. But now, like, learning how to do a thicker, chunky yarn, I think is going to be in my realm of learning right now, because I want to go into my it's called Loop It Up cardigan.
And knitting those chunky cardigans really satisfying because you knit it.
It is. It really is.
It goes so quick.
Yeah, it goes so quick. I'm like, even knitting the kaleidoscope, I hand spun for my kaleidoscope. And it was just so fun because like you're working on a pattern that you like, you spun yourself. That was a goal of both of ours when we started knitting, was like we wanted to do like a farm to needle sweater.
Love it.
Or a fleece to needle.
Yeah.
Because you could buy farm yarn and that would be farm to needle.
Well, yeah, but you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Fleece farm to, oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Like wash the fleece and everything, or did it come already washed?
It comes already washed. I do have shepherd farmers here, and I have a friend that raises alpaca, and they gifted me the fleeces from them. So you know, when we do our intro to spinning videos that we need to do hopefully next summer, we're gonna take you through the whole entire washing and carding and spinning and how to spin on drop spindle, and I'm really excited about how it's gonna be.
Yes. We're excited.
Like, okay, so
summer 2022, we should expect that, and we should start planning and maybe get ourselves a drop spindle and some fiber and like start getting it. Then we can follow you and do it.
And do it. And do it all.
I'm like, that's the plan.
I'm like, that's the problem with having full-time jobs and wanting to do more fiber related things.
Yeah.
You know,
you have to plan accordingly. And the farm that we were going to visit to get footage, my friend shows those baby lambs, and so every time like I could do it, she couldn't because she was showing, and then when I finally could do it, the shows were over, so she didn't have the lambs anymore. So now we have to put this on pause. Yeah. So we're really excited because we're gonna film on location, and it's gonna be a good time. We really want it to be like a really good resource. Yeah, for people. So.
And I think that it definitely is something that people are looking for. Like I haven't really caught that bug yet. Like it's not something I'm like itching to do, but I have a few friends who are like, I want to spin, and I don't know where to look to.
Or where to start. Yeah. Like, where do you start with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were lucky. We ended up taking a spin class from our local yarn shop, like right before the pandemic.
Like it was March 11th when we took the class, and like the US shut down March 16th.
Yeah. So.
World. Well, very cool. I mean, yeah. Very nice. So, the last question I normally ask is there anyone who inspires you in the fiber community or whatever? I mean, we talked a lot about how Kristy inspires us, which is going to lead me to my next thing. But is there anyone else that you thought of that you want to talk about, who you admire and want to share? I just like to give space to,
So I really love and admire Alyssa from Cake Wool.
Yeah.
She has only been dyeing yarn for 2 years. She single-handedly created the Cake Palooza event and was able to partner up with Kristy to do a virtual. And she's only been doing this for 2 years. And I am just
We're just so proud of her.
We're just proud of her and in awe of her, and her yarn is fantastic. Like, if you haven't seen it, you should go to her website. It's cakewoolco.com and just look. I've knit with every single base, and every single base gets better than the next one, you know. The mohair, the Surrey.
Her colors are amazing. They're just fun and bright, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Is like fun, bright colors that are fun to knit.
Yeah. I've knit so much in her mohair. And in her merino and
her fingering
bases and her slub yarn, like everything she bakes is fantastic. I just wanted to shine a little spotlight on her. She inspires me. And Kelly from Fashion School Dropout is a new kind of find for us. I say new find. She used to have a different yarn company, and she just launched Fashion School Dropout recently. And she is
dyeing yarns based off of old fashion runway shows, different designers, which is really cool.
Yes.
Love that.
So like, I know we are like obsessed.
I'm like someone who I guess it's a group of girls. I don't really remember what they're called. But individually, it's Megan Patrice Riley. These are all jewelry.
They're Anya House.
They're Anya House. Thank you. That's their like collective group together. But singly, they're Megan Patrice Riley. She's based in New York. Then we have Laura Woods. We're actually partnering up with her to create some sweaters based off her jewelry line. She is amazing. I love her to death. A fellow twin, Ashley Buchanan. She is amazing. I love her work.
She just celebrated 10 years of business for her jewelry line.
And then
I know.
Yeah, she's awesome. And then Oblique Atelier,
which is Mia Heb.
Yeah.
And she's based in Brooklyn.
She's also based in Brooklyn. And she how she creates shapes with metal is just amazing.
Yeah.
And
I think you would appreciate her work.
I'm in awe of those ladies, of those women. We met them while we were in jewelry and metal smithing. And now that we are doing like our own thing, it's nice to see them as like colleagues, almost, which is really nice because we are really big fans of theirs. And, you know, they consider us friends now, which is really nice. But I really wanted to shout them out because I love them, and their friendship is really like inspiring because they like hype each other up, and it's just really nice to have.
Yeah, they have a collective group.
That's Anya House, you said.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna try and like write all these things, but I'll ask you if there's anyone I can't find.
I can DM that to you for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, very, very cool. Thank you for all these recommendations. I feel like there's like a web of things to go check out of all the people that you've been talking about. And a lot of them were like new to me. Like I didn't know. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, before we go, I wanted to just do a little throwback to Kristy's old videos with those questions. That's this or this or that.
Yes.
And you have to answer. I was trying to think about how it could be kind of fun, like maybe like you could answer for each other or you could answer one and one. I don't know how we want to do it, but and I was trying to remember some of the questions that Kristy did, and then I invented my own. So I used to do this kind of videos. I haven't done it in a while. So do you want to answer your own questions or do you want to try and answer each other's?
Ooh, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Do you want to answer for each other?
Sure.
Do you want to try to answer for each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can see whether or not we actually know each other.
Exactly.
It's like the newlywed game.
Exactly. The twin Aura Knits game. Okay. So, knit, crochet.
Erica's a knit.
Jessica's a knit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Although crochet is definitely like having a comeback now. Like
I did learn how to crochet. Alyssa, I love her so much. She took the time out of her busy schedule of being a mom and an amazing businesswoman and taught us how to crochet. So I actually did the Ziggy Interrupted this year.
I saw that you did. I love that.
Thank you.
That's on my hook.
Yeah.
Very nice. I just have to mention that those are my dog's feet right there.
I love it.
Pretty cool.
He's just chilling. He's just chilling.
He's just chilling. He loves it. He loves it. Okay. Alpaca or cashmere?
Alpaca.
Cashmere.
For me?
Yeah.
Do you really? I don't know.
I think you like cashmere. So she just bought cashmere.
I did. I just bought cashmere.
So
for the
that's
first
why
time.
that's why I say cashmere.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Cashmere.
definitely alpaca.
Where did you get cashmere from? From
So-
Rhinebeck.
No, I actually bought. So we're partnering up with one of our local yarn stores in Ohio, and her yarn store is Cast On Yarn Studio, and we are doing a knit along in January. But while I was visiting her studio, she had the Clinton Hill cashmere, the new color. I bought myself a skein of a Clinton Hill cashmere in that new indigo color to make the Jacqueline beret.
Ooh, that's gonna be nice.
Yes, I hope
Very
so. I'm a little. I got a little fancy there.
Very fancy, just like so.
Pinkies up. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I love cashmere, but I love alpaca. I love. Okay, weaver spin.
Spin.
Yeah,
I think yeah.
I would have guessed that for you guys too. Color work or lace?
Erica's color work. Jessica's lace.
Oh, okay. All right, nice. And what about brioche?
I've done one brioche project.
Okay.
And I do like it. I want to be more prolific in it. I want to learn more. We ran into Knit Graffiti. I stalked her all weekend until she talked to me. I was just around her, because I love her work and I want to get to the point where I can knit her patterns and not be like, what is happening?
I don't know who Knit Graffiti is, so I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, you need to. You need to. Knit Graffiti. She does.
Hold on one sec. I've got. Although I'm sure he'll be back, but also decided that he went.
Yeah.
I'm done now.
He's like, I'm done. I have done stretching, and that's good. So Knit Graffiti, I'm gonna check out. So she has a lot of brioche patterns.
She has a ton of brioche patterns. She just told us at Rhinebeck that she's coming out with her own brioche book soon, and you can pre-order that, which I will most likely be pre-ordering. And she is a fantastic human being, and yes.
Hey, more people to check out. So many people.
Yes.
So many people. I love it. Okay. Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, Netflix.
For me? Yeah.
For you.
For you. I feel like for you, it's YouTube.
I mean, like, I'm a Hulu girl right now.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
Yeah, we're watching all of SVU right now. So right now we're like Huluing it up.
But Netflix, because we watched Velvet.
Yeah.
Have you seen Velvet?
I don't have Netflix, so I couldn't answer this question. I don't know. But
Well,
it's a Spanish.
It's a Spanish. It's from Spain. It's a Spanish show.
Yeah, I
It's
definitely
like
remember
1960s
seeing
couture.
what is it about?
It's 1960s couture house, and they're like making clothes and stuff.
Oh,
And
man.
we watched. It was so good.
It was really good.
We watched like La Casa de Papel. We're waiting to watch. That's on Netflix right now. What else?
We watched the Casa de las Flores, which is Mexican.
Oh my goodness.
TV.
Yes. So like we are more like Netflix
Yeah.
than, well, right now we're watching Special Victims Unit, but that's on Hulu.
Okay. All right. Nice. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. So streaming, but then also YouTube sometimes. I mean, there's so many things to watch. It's like an overload of
I
things.
know.
Okay. And also I'm realizing that like answering the question for the other is probably kind of like hard because like you hear the question, you like think about it for yourself and okay. For the other person, ready?
Yeah, that's good because I knew Jess is definitely lace.
Yeah. And I knew Erica was color work for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely I like color work, but it's not my jam.
Oh, it's my jam.
I like color work too, but I like lace. Lace is fun. Coffee or tea?
Your shawl was amazing. Sorry.
Your
shawl was amazing.
I have it right here. It's just
It's gorgeous.
I know.
I literally guessed and I was I need to make
beautiful. Is that all mohair?
it is. This is part of my Find Your Fluff count because you know how Cady Jax are doing Find Your Fluff. So this is this is my friend Tintika's mohair, which is her ethereal base, and then her conscious base, which is like an organic wool, and it is amazing.
That is
gorgeous.
beautiful.
And surprisingly, it's funny because I knew that I needed to like do it like super fast before this wedding I'm going to next week. And I had knit this before. The first time I knit it was like, it took me forever. It was so hard. I made a million mistakes, a bunch of lifelines. And then I was thinking about doing it again. And I thought it's probably going to be easier the second time around. And I went on Ravelry and everyone said that they knit it in 2 weeks. And I was like, why is this so fast? And then I knit it in 3 weeks. So it's really not that bad. Like, I'm a slow knitter.
Shawl. I'm like, you have to send me the pattern because I definitely want to make it. I have that chain fiber that has nothing going on. So how gorgeous would that be?
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, it's called Forest Maiden, which I picked it because I like the name. I like the forest.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Really.
You guys should make it and then we'll wear it to Rhinebeck back next year.
I know, we should.
Okay.
Yes, next year.
The lace. The lace. You can do the lace, Erica. It's not that bad. Lace is okay.
Okay. I've done lace before. It's just not, I mean, like, I would prefer to do two-handed color work all day, every day, and in my sleep than really have to pay attention to lace.
I get that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to pay attention.
That's because
No?
no, I don't think so. I'm afraid that I drop stitches and my yarn overs are little, I just struggle with lace.
I know. It is a struggle, but you get into it. Okay. Mountain or the sea?
Oh, both.
Yeah, both. It's hard because, like, our grandparents, our American grandparents, they live in South Carolina in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then we also love to go to the beach.
I mean, we live by the lake.
Yeah,
so.
we live by the lake.
Okay. All right. Dog or cat?
Cat. Oh, that one's for me, cat.
No, I'm a dog girl. Jess loves her cat. I love
my cat.
I love my little buddy who's sitting right here.
Oh, so you guys have a dog and a cat?
Yes.
Oh, so that's really hard. It's like choosing between like your
Children. I know.
and yeah, or like your two skeins of awesome yarn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sun or moon?
Ooh.
I don't know.
I'm a sun girl.
Yeah, I think me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm a girl too.
It's kind of like day or night. Like, are we morning people or night people?
Yeah.
I'm definitely a morning person.
We're old ladies. We go to bed at like 9:30.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's common for all knitters? Because I'm such a morning person as well. Like, I will be sleeping
and
like,
I don't know, because there's a lot of people that are yarn dyers and they stay up real late.
Yeah, dyeing yarn.
I'm just like, we'll be talking and they're like, yeah, like, it's fine. It's like midnight. And I'm like, I should have been asleep 3 hours ago.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing is like knitting in the morning, like with coffee.
Yeah.
Like watching the sunrise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too early.
What?
Watching the sunrise? I don't know about that. I like to, I normally wake up before the sun rises, but then I like stay in bed until like, at least I don't have to like turn on the light to knit,
Yeah, I get that. We have to wake up super early to be at work by 8 o'clock. So,
And also I think that, I don't know how the sun is, but when I lived in New York, like the sun would be up at like super early super early, like much earlier than Spain. In Spain, the sun rises at like 8, maybe like 7:30. So clearly,
here it's like 6:37.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always changing now, depending on the town. But definitely, the sun wakes up later in Spain and goes to bed later, and that's the way people live here. So,
yeah.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
I know you're gonna say cake just because it's cake, cake.
We don't eat pies.
That's an American thing.
Yeah.
We grew up Puerto Rican.
Yeah, so we don't make pies.
Okay. But wait, Puerto Ricans don't eat pie or people in the States?
It's just not made.
I don't think in the culture we make pies like that.
Like our grandparents did not make pies.
No, my grandma would always make the arroz dulce with the coconut milk and the raisins, or they would make flan, but we don't make pies.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I honestly really I would say cake too. Okay, and also because cake yarn. You know, I was going to say before, I actually bought my mother because my mother crochets, but not very much. And I'm always trying to tell her, like, crochet, it's so fun. And for her birthday, I called, I don't know if you know Perfect Blend yarn shop in.
Yes.
Okay, so I called her, like, on the phone, because I had been talking to her about other things. And I called her and I was like, can you help me pick out yarn and then send it to my mother? And like some tea and stuff. And so she took me around her shop and I ended up picking out cake yarn. And I didn't even know what cake yarn was, but I was like, it's her birthday. So sending her a yarn called cake sounds like a good idea. And the colorway was flamingo feet. And I thought that was a really
Yes.
Do you know that colorway?
The best names. We love, I mean, honestly, yes.
We just labeled all of her yarn. We did just label all of her yarn.
So my mother has a skein of that and she's never touched it. So she's waiting for me to come to New York and let me knit it. So I'm excited. I will knit it. I'll make her socks.
You're gonna love it.
So we just went into Perfect Blend. We didn't know it existed until New York Sheep and Wool because we stayed in Rhinebeck. Or not Rhinebeck, we stayed in Socrates. And
exactly.
In Socrates.
And it's so cool because it mixes two wonderful things. Tea and yarn. Oh, that's a question that I always ask too. Like, because I'm really into the plants and stuff. Do you guys have a favorite plant or tea or, plant or tea? Edible plant or just plant that you like? What'd you say?
I like aloe vera as a plant.
That's a good plant.
Useful plant.
It is a useful plant.
I love dahlias.
Oh, dahlias. Beautiful.
I love flowers and I really love dahlias.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What does that mean about us that you like pick a nice flower that's like beautiful and mine's a useful plant?
I mean, I think that all plants are useful. Either they bring you joy or they cure your wounds or they I feel like dahlias probably have a million things that they're good for. Who knows? I don't really know about for medicine dahlias. I feel like they're probably poisonous, but even poisonous things have medical uses and things that could be good for humans or good for the bees, which are good for other plants. You know, there's so much. They're all useful. So, but yes, very nice, very cool. And pancake or waffle?
Waffles.
Pancakes.
Are you saying for each other?
No, that's for me. I love waffles.
You love waffles, and that's what I was going to ask you. Why Waffle Belgium? Why is that your name?
So back in the day, there was a show called Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah, it's just that show. It's popular.
It's a very small show, not very popular.
Sure, no one's seen it.
No, I know. I don't know. The reboot, what? But there's a scene where they were joking and they were making fun of like how, you know, she was a supermodel and they don't eat anything, and they made a joke about like her name being Waffle and she's from Belgium. So like I thought that was funny and I made my name Waffle Belgium. And then Jessica, to go in with the breakfast theme, was Café Collage, which is coffee with milk. And we were like breakfasty joke, you know, it was like a joke, and then it just stuck.
Yeah.
And it's never gone away.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. So, but you do like waffles. So.
Yes.
Okay. Very nice. Well, that is the end of my silly questions. I don't know I mean, you were telling us a little bit of what's on the horizon for you two. Maybe you can tell me where we can find you if you have anything exciting coming up in the next 2 weeks or months or social media.
So you can find us on Twin Aura Knits on Instagram and on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I am Waffle Belgium on Ravelry and on Instagram.
I am its_Jess with 1S_BEL on Instagram. I'm indie-darling on Ravelry, but I don't really use it all that often.
We're going to be doing a couple of knit-alongs.
Yes.
We're going to be hosting a Brooklyn tweed through our local yarn store, Cast on Yarn Studios,
in January.
We're still trying to iron out the details. It's going to be like a cute little raglan sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that we're doing? We don't have right now. We're not really knitting on anything because Rhinebeck
Didn't even ask you. I didn't even
down.
ask you what you were knitting. So you've got nothing on the needles?
I've got nothing on the needles right now because we have PTSD for a second from Rhinebeck.
I have my half and half wrap that I haven't finished yet.
Mm. Okay.
But I will be spinning on my wheel.
Yeah.
I am going to be finishing my Ziggy interrupted crochet. I'm going to be starting my Stephen West knit along.
Yes.
And I have the knit collage knit along also. And I have to wind down for my Notorious RBG. So I do have projects coming, but I needed to take a break because I really hurt my wrist while knitting two-handed color work for 3 months nonstop.
Yeah.
So
Seriously knitting fast. Yeah.
here.
Okay. And I love that you have a list of projects that are coming up because that's what we all do. I don't know.
I mean, my list could go on and on because
really.
like I just bought 7 or 8 sweaters quantities at Rhinebeck that if you watch the video, you will see.
I'm excited. That's what I'm going to do tonight.
I think what you're going to do is I'm going to say one thing in the video and you're going to be like, who is that? And you're going to look her up and you are going to instantly fall in love with her work because I think she's your aesthetic too. And you're going to want to knit all of her things.
Okay. Okay. And wait, who is this? Is this the name or I'm going to see it later in the video?
I think, well, it's going to be later in the video, but I can tell you off camera. So then if your viewers want to see that and find out who that is, go watch the video.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to watch the video and all right. So it's a secret and maybe I'll leave it down. No, if someone leaves it down below in a comment, then they win a prize. Figure out what prize. Yeah, if someone can figure out what person Erica's talking about, I don't know. Maybe no one's going to watch this, so maybe no. But if you do, put it down in a comment or just say hi. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Anything else? That's it. It was so nice to talk to you both.
I know in real life and like, I mean, you know, as real as it can get at the moment.
Yeah. Next year, Rhinebeck, we'll all be there.
Yes. Or if you do your retreat.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Looking for an excuse to go to Spain.
I know.
So.
Well, they're actually, I have some friends who are doing one now in December. That's like really soon.
That's not enough time to recover from Rhinebeck.
I know. Next November, hopefully the Barcelona knits will be going on, but it will be like so soon after the Rhinebeck that it might just be too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like if we start saving now, we could do both. We could, ¿por qué no los dos, both of them?
I know we could. That's something to think about.
I want to do both, so we could like organize it. I mean, like take a little break, a few weeks, and then really it's only like 2 weeks different because next week is Barcelona Knit. So imagine, but it's virtual this year.
Yeah,
so you have like a little bit of time to decompress, and then you can just wash all your knits and wear them again to Barcelona. Like you could make like.
If we're gonna do it, if I'm gonna be serious about this, I'm gonna be knitting a sweater from a Spanish designer because I don't do anything halfway.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So there's plenty of Spanish designers, and they're all awesome. So I have lots of people on my channel that I've interviewed in Spanish, and a lot of them are designers and are amazing. So I'll pass them whenever I see a good one. I'm gonna pass it to you guys, and then
Perfect. Thank you.
Start knitting. Okay, well, it was lovely to see you both, and happy knitting. And
yes.
okay, adios. Ciao, ciao.
Yes.
Adios.